Good day everyone, my name is Erlavi Santiago, the little teacher of Study Online, and today we will present to you our PED 5 Module 3 video presentation on organization and management of learner-centered classrooms. So let's begin with forms of learner-centered classroom organization, procedures, and physical structure. Physical setup is one of the most important components of teaching. It reflects your teaching styles, and it also reflects you. How we design our classroom has an impact on the way our students think clearly. A conductive learning environment promotes effective teaching and learning. So let's talk about room structuring. Room structuring has three types of structures. So let's start with the first one, which is individualized learning. Individualized learning setups sets up learning centers or stations for students to work at their own pace depending on their abilities and interests. Set up an individual work area for this type of learning. So, the second one is group learning. Organize them around tables or clusters of desks. You can organize them in groups of for cooperative learning. For frequent whole group discussions, try a circle or U-shaped desk. Config U-shaped desk configuration and for where everyone has a front row seat. Now with the final one, which is activity oriented classroom, you just set up a large table for cooperative projects and usually provide a space for wet and messy projects. So now let's continue with classroom routines and procedures. Establishing routines is not that difficult. For teachers who are strict and non-negotiating, establishing a routine sends a message to the students that they should cooperate in maintaining order in the classroom. According to Erlinda D. Serrano and Anna Ruby M. Pace, classroom events that can be routinized are the following: getting attention of students to respond to a particular question, reaction, etc., correcting homeworks in class, excusing oneself from class for emergency purposes or use of the comfort room, posting of visual aids on the board, updating oneself on the lesson when absent in class, going out of the room during break, clearing the table and desk after the performance or task, swapping of partners on discussions, forming participatory groups, and reporting and sharing of responses. So now, let's move to the benefits of these routines. The number one, routine procedures help in freeing the minds of teachers to think about other matters. If every time an activity is performed, a teacher has to consider some options on how to do it, it will be too taxing on his or her part to constantly think and decide. Now, establishing routines on how to collect assessments or distribute materials enables the teacher to focus more on his or her lesson planning. Now, in the execution of lessons, a teacher who has routines for calling on students is relieving himself or herself of the burden of worrying about whom to call next, thus allowing more time to focus on what is being shared by the students. It is easier for the students to predict their teacher's next move, and armed with such knowledge, they can concentrate and learn more. Now, stability is assured, especially for the new students who are unfamiliar with the class rules. Now, with the final one is reduce anxiety on the part of students who do not know how to get involved with different class activities.
Hello, so I am Arcelia Sarnen and I'm going to continue the topic of our little teacher's discussion. A. Forms of learner-centered classroom organization, procedures, and physical structure. Physical setup is one of the most important components of teaching. It reflects your teaching style and it also reflects you. How we design our classroom has an impact on the way of our students think clearly. A conductive learning environment promotes effective teaching and learning. 1. Room structuring. For individualized learning setup, learning centers, or stations for students to work, at their own space, depending on their abilities and interests. Set up an individual work area for this type of learning. For group learning, organize them around tables or cluster of desks. You can organize them in groups of four for cooperative learning. For frequent whole group discussions, try a circle or U-shaped desk configuration where everyone has a front row seat. Activity-oriented classroom set up a large table for cooperative projects. Provide a space for wet or messy projects. 2. Classroom routines and procedures. Establishing routine is not that difficult. For teachers who are strict and non-negotiating, establishing a routine sends a message to the students what they should cooperate in the maintaining order in the classroom. According to Erlinda Di Serrano and Anna Ruby and Paez, classroom events that can be routinized are the following. 1. Getting the attention of the student to respond to a particular question, reactions, etc. 2. Correction or correcting homeworks in class. 3. Excusing oneself from class for emergency purposes or use of the comfort room. 4. Posting of visual aids on the board. 5. Updating oneself on the lesson when absent in class. Going out the jury room during break time, clearing the table and desk after the performance of the task. Swapping of partners on discussions. Forming participatory groups. Reporting and sharing of responses. Benefits of routines. The following are reasons why faithful observance of routine is highly beneficial. 1. Routine procedures help freeing the minds of teachers to think about matters in teaching. It every time an activity is performed, a teacher has to consider some options of how to do it. It will be taxing on his her part to constantly think and decide. 2. Establishing routines on how to collect assignments or distribute materials enables the teacher to focus more on his her lesson planning. 3. In the execution of lesson, a teacher who has routines for calling on student is relieving herself of the burden of worrying about whom to call next, thus allowing more time to focus on what is to shared by the student. 4. It is easier for the student to predict their teacher's next move, and armed with such knowledge they can concentrate and learn more. 5. Stability is assured, especially for the new students who are unfamiliar with the class rules. 6. Reduces anxiety on the part of students who do not know how to get involved in the different classroom. And that's for our topic, for our first topic in by little teacher discussion. And let's us hear of what Maricar short summarization from our topic.
Good day, I am Marika Daimba and today I am going to discuss my topic. But before that, let's have first a short summary of what Mr. Santiago and Mr. Arcelias discussed. In learner-centered classroom organizations, procedures, and physical structure, there are key considerations. First is a room structuring. Tailor the physical setup for accommodate different learning styles and activities. This may include individual work areas, group tables, or stations for cooperative learning. Second is the classroom routines and procedures. Establishing consistent routines helps maintain order and allows students to focus on teaching rather than managing logistics. Routines can cover various aspects such as getting attentions, homework corrections, breaks, and group formations, benefiting both teachers and students by reducing anxiety and fostering stability. In creating an optimal social environment for learning, first, fairness, respect, and care. Teachers play a crucial role in fostering a welcoming and equitable classroom climate by modeling good communications and behavior, promoting equality, and showing genuine care for students. Second is motivating learning environment. Encourage intrinsic motivations among students by creating a safe, positive, and nurturing learning environment where open communications is valued to effectively engage students in learning. First, encourage recognition, provide frequent praise and recognition for students' efforts and contribution, fostering a sense of value and enthusiasm for learning. Second is promote students' involvement, assign students responsibilities within the classroom, allowing them to take ownership of their learning experience and encouraging active participation. Third is offer incentives. Set clear expectations and offer rewards to motivate students to achieve academic goals and actively participate in classroom activities. Fourth is be creative. Utilize diverse teaching methods such as interactive games, discussions, and visual aids to keep lessons engaging and stimulate interest in learning. Fifth is connect to real life. Help students see the relevance of subject matter to their lives by drawing connections to real world contexts, enhancing their motivation to learn attentive. And now I'm going to discuss my topic about in a learner-centered classroom. The roles and responsibilities of both teachers and students shift from traditional methods. Teachers' responsibilities. Recognize and accommodate different learning styles. Teachers need to understand that students learn in various ways and adapt their teaching methods accordingly. Provide structure without being overly directive. Teachers should offer guidance and framework for students while allowing students to explore and discover on their own. Listen to and respect each learner viewpoints. Teachers should value students' perspectives and encourage open communications, encourage and facilitate learners' shared decision making. Teachers empower students to take ownership of their learning by involving them in decision-making process. Be active participants in learning. Students engage actively in the learning process, taking initiative and responsibility for their educations. Make decisions about what and how they learn. Students have a say in the learning journey, choosing methods and topics that interest them. Construct new knowledge by building on current understanding. Students use their existing knowledge as the foundations to build upon and expand their understanding. Understand expectations and use self-assessment measure. Students are aware of learning goals and assess their progress towards them, taking responsibility for their own learning, monitor their learning and develop strategies. Students reflect on their learning process, identify areas of improvement and develop strategies to enhance their learning, work collaboratively and other learners. Students engage in collaborative learning activities, sharing ideas and knowledge with peers. Demonstrate authentic learning through their work. Students produce their work that reflects their understanding and applications of concept in real-world contexts, and maintaining discipline within a learner-centered classroom. Establish collaborative class norms. Involve students in creating class rules or norms that focus on positive behavior, explaining the reasons behind them. Use logical consequences. Implement disciplinary actions that aim to teach students better behavior choices rather than simply punishing them. Ensure consequences and respect related to the misbehavior and promote internal understanding and self-control. That's all for my topic. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Arnem Tangkapa and today I am going to discuss my topic, but before that, let me first give you a short summary of what Maricar de Imba discussed about learner-centered classroom, roles and responsibilities. Student-centered classroom involves change in the roles and responsibilities of learners and instructors in the delivery of instruction strategies and in learning itself. Teacher recognize and accommodate learning modalities. View all. A teacher is a person who helps others to acquire knowledge, competences, or values. Teacher is a designation for the office, positions, and profession for someone who devotes himself in the field of education through pattern educational interaction, formal and systematic. Learners are active participants in their learning in the context of education. Learners refers to students or individuals who are engaged in the process of learning new skills or knowledge, or children and young adults enrolled in the class. And that's all. And now I am going to discuss my topic about the role of discipline in learner-centered classroom. Number one is the collaborative classroom norms. Always start with the basic. Every class should have a short list of class rules or norms that develop together, positively praise. Developing the list as a group allows students to see why behind the rules and buy into how they are enforced. Create 3 to 5 rules that tell everyone that they should do or do not what they shouldn't do. Posting, paraphrasing, posing question, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, presuming positive intentions. Developing this list as a group allows students to see why behind the rules and buy into how they are enforced rules that tell everyone what they should do. Norms are a social contract that supports a group collaborative works. Norms that are explicit and visible to the entire group can provide a framework for addressing behavior that might be distracting from the goals of the group. Number two is the logical consequences are disciplinary actions that are intended to teach students to make better behavior choice rather than to punish them. One of the best ways to teach our students is to accept responsibility is to use logical consequences. Logical consequences teach students the hows and why of good decision rather than making them feel sorry for making bad choices. Logical consequences are the natural outcomes that result from child actions with others or property. Following through on logical consequences means that the adult guides the child to take responsibility for any harm caused of the damage done. The intent is to teach child that every action has a reaction when the consequences is related, reasonable, and delivered respectfully. The students can make the connection with their behavior and is less likely to resist or deny responsibility. The goal of logical consequences is to help students develop internal understanding, self control, and desire to follow rules. The 3 types of logical consequences. Number one is time out or take break. It is a not punishment. You are not punishing the child for misbehavior. Instead, you are asking them to take a few minutes to regain its self-control and to think over what just occurred. The idea behind time out is when the kids stop getting attention for bad behavior. They will be less likely to do it again by taking away the attention. The child learns that throwing a tantrum isn't going to get them what they want. Experts say that timeouts are not harmful. Example, when students make a derogatory remark about another student response to a question. You take a break and let the student realize what he or she just said. Number two is you break it. You fix it. Use this type of logical consequences when you see an opportunity for a student to solve a problem that caused when something has been broken, feelings have been hurt, or mess has been made, whether accidentally or intentionally. The consequences is that the one responsible for the problem takes responsibility for fixing it. Example, one child accidentally knocks into another on the playground. The staff apologized to the child. Number three is the loss of privilege. Use this type of logical consequences when a student does not follow expectations. Use this type of logical consequences when student defeat, test, or simply forget the rule. Example, a student speaks rudely to the teacher refuses to listen to her or him until she or he change her tone of voice. So that's all my topic. Thank you.
Hi, good day to all, especially to you, I'm Coach Jude Martinez. I'm Marie-Claire Mabolo from Study Hub 9, BSET English 1A. And now I will going to continue the discussion of Mr. Tancapa, which is the three types of logical consequences. And under the three types of logical consequences has the consistent application, student is specific, time for resolution, and calm spaces, which is what I will going to discuss this time. So the first is the consistent application. Now, what is consistent applications in learner-centered teaching? Well, class, in learner-centered teaching, consistent application involves the persistent use of learner-focused strategies, approaches, and principles to facilitate effective learning experiences for students. It means applying student-centered methodologies consistently throughout the teaching process. In classroom without consistent practice can often chaotic. However, creating an environment that welcomes uniform responses to behavior choices will support each student's understanding of expectations. For example, a teacher using consistent application in learner-centered teaching might employ active learning techniques, encourage students' participation, and provide personalized feedback consistently across various lessons. This approach ensures that students are consistently engaged and empowered in their learning journey, fostering a supportive and effective educational environment. So now let's move on to our second topic, which is the students is specific. The students is specific in learner-centered teaching refers to tailoring educational approaches, methods, and contents to meet the unique needs, preferences, and abilities of individual students. It emphasizes recognizing and accommodating the university among learners, and acknowledging that each students may have distinct learning styles, strengths, and challenges. For instance, a student's specific approach could involve offering different learning materials for assignments to cater to various learning preferences, providing additional resources of alternative assessments to accommodate different skills, level, or interest in another way to implement a student's specific approach in learner-centered teaching. This individualized attention enhances the overall learning experience by addressing a specific requirements of each student. And now let's all move on to the third topic, which is the time for resolution. In learner-centered teaching, the time for resolution refers to duration taken to address and resolve challenges, questions, or difficulties that students may encounter during the learning process. It emphasizes the importance of timely and effective responses to ensure that students receive the support they need when facing obstacles in their learning journey. For example, if a student is struggling with a particular concept, A teacher practicing each time for resolution in learner-centered teaching would promptly provide additional explanation, resources, or one-on-one assistance to help the students overcome the difficulty. This approach fosters to a supportive learning environment where addressing concerns in a timely manner contributes to the overall effectiveness of the educational experience. And lastly, the calm spaces. Calm spaces is in learner-centered teaching referred to designated areas or approaches within the learning environment that promote a sense of tranquility, reducing stress and anxiety for students. These spaces aim to create a conducive atmosphere for focused learning, self-reflection, and emotional well-being. For instance, a calm spaces in classroom could include comfortable seating, soft lighting, and minimal distraction. This area might be used for individual reflection, meditation, or quiet reading, allowing students to recharge and regain focus. By incorporating calm spaces, learner-centered teaching recognizes the importance of emotional and mental well-being in the learning process, contributing a positive and supportive educational environment. And that's all for my discussion, guys. Thank you for listening.